guys, welcome back and welcome to another late review because that is pretty much my style these days. If you had seen, maybe you didn't, the other week I posted my Flicks with the Chicks haul, and that film that I saw for the latest Flicks with the Chicks session was Late Night. It was once again called, an advanced screening. Usually Flicks with the Chicks sessions, if you're lucky, you might be seeing a film that doesn't come out for another week or two. But usually their session comes out the day before the official release date of the film. But most of the time it's still for like a film that in this case was released in the US ages ago. So when they call it an advanced screening, it ain't that advanced. At this point, I swear you could probably get a perfectly fine copy of the internet. So I was like, why bother? And it looks like this is going to be another stupid filter issued video. I should just embrace it and accept that I'm just going to permanently be this color in all my videos now. So let's just embrace it and do the video, okay? Late Night is a 2019 American comedy drama film directed by Nisha Ganatra and written by Mindy Kaling. It follows the host of a late-night talk show who teams up with one of her new staff writers in an attempt to save her career. Upon seeing the trailers for this film, I found the movie to be quite funny. Sadly, the comedy trailer jinx continues. It seems they used all the best bits for the trailer, and outside of context was the only time I found them amusing. While watching the film, I can tell you that while Late Night is filled with humorous dialogue, I didn't find any of it funny in a sense that I didn't laugh once. The jokes are there, but I felt their problem was they were too intelligent for their own good. It's easy to see and hear why the jokes would be funny, but there wasn't enough there in the delivery or the setting in which they are told to bring home the delivery, and so ultimately the jokes don't land. That being said, Late Night is an easy and enjoyable watch that no doubt will resonate with a lot of people. The film tackles a number of themes and addresses many of them by using different character dynamics. If you put character 1 and 2 together, you get one topic, put 2 with 5, then you get something else. For the most part, all the elements were terrific. The first and most crucial character dynamic, of course, is Catherine, played by Emma Thompson, and Molly, played by Mindy Kaling. Their dynamic is not about girlfriends having each other's back or two people adopting a mother-daughter relationship. These characters' entire story revolves around mutual respect and finding someone who helps you see things from a different perspective. It's not a story that is used to lead many films, as films prefer to opt for romance or two besties, so this concept is just a nice change of pace and leaves more room for discussing compelling topics. Catherine comes from a generation who had to work extra hard to make it and had to learn to play the game to be accepted into a male-dominated profession. At the same time, it is addressing the reality that being a late-night talk show host is a field that is dominated by straight white men. If you Google late-night talk show host, you will see a list of exactly that, with the only initial exceptions that appear being Chelsea Handler, Trevor Noah, and Arsenio Hall. That's a pretty sad fact, and it's not really one that is discussed, but this film is happily pointing it out for all to see. The film also shows that Catherine has become quite complacent. She's present, but she's not doing or saying anything of worth, as if she's gotten so used to learning how not to rock the boat, she forgot that sometimes it's needed. In this film, she is subject to her own scandal, and what I loved about how they depicted this is how they addressed how people these days try to make scandals like this one a gender issue. Instead, her character turned around and pointed out that those defending her are comparing her experience to a man's, and Catherine stands proudly and basically says it's not about the gender of the person committing the act, it's about the act itself, and that at the end of the day it's a disgusting thing to do and no one should be given a pass. And I respect this stance. All people should be held accountable for their actions equally. Molly comes along as someone eager, and she brings in an entirely different perspective. She's a woman of ethnicity, and so no one is looking at her worth. They are focused purely on her gender and race, and while she's aware this is the case, she doesn't go out of her way to fight against it, instead accepting it. Catherine gives her a nudge, saying, yes, this is why you got where you are, but now that you're here, prove you deserve it. There are people who try to skate by resting on gender or race, and it is anti-progressive. But when you see someone in that situation turn it around and make good use of it, it sends the message that no, it's not about just giving jobs or chances to minorities for the hell of it. It's about providing jobs to people who have something to offer regardless of those things. Molly's experience with Catherine helps her to grow her confidence and develop more of a spine and find her voice. And while doing this, she has the chance to slap Catherine awake and tell her, you have an opportunity to stand for something, so do it. Together, I love how they played off each other and never took each other's crap. They spoke more with their actions than their words, and I loved it. Another thing I love about Molly is that the film also uses her to show that being prejudiced is not exclusively a white person thing. While her co-workers look down on her for being hired because she's a minority, she looks down on her co-worker Tom, played by Reed Scott, for being hired because of his family. She falls into the trap of taking him as a spoiled white man who has it easy and doesn't have to work for anything because he's white. What we learn is just like her, he has something to prove. While Molly has to prove she's more than her gender and race, Tom has to prove that he's not just there thanks to nepotism, but that he is smart and deserves to be there, and as Catherine points out, he has done just that. Both characters have the same opinion of each other, but as they slowly get to know each other, they realize they were wrong and that the other person actually has something of value. It's obvious where their storyline is going, but I do appreciate that there was a bit of deception when it comes to their male characters. Tom comes off like an arrogant, prejudiced jerk, but turns out he's actually a somewhat decent human being when given a chance, unlike his friend Charlie. Charlie, played by Hugh Dancy, comes off as charming and friendly and gives everyone a chance, but Charlie is a wolf in sheep's clothing and turns out to be just a regular scumbag. I love the contrast between him and Tom. Tom comes off like an asshole, but in truth, he's just someone who doesn't want to pretend to be something he's not. Charlie, on the other hand, loves to play the role of a nice guy, but he's the most cunning and untrustworthy character of the lot. He uses people to get what he wants and he doesn't care who it hurts. While Charlie is not that present, I like that he provides that contrast and also gives Molly a chance to prove she's capable and self-aware. While she falls for the trap many of us women do and gets swept up by a sweet smile only to find out they didn't notice the razor teeth behind it, she recovers quickly. She doesn't go on about it and whine and pine like most women do in films like this. She takes it for more of a, not this crap again, accepts it for what it is and moves on with her life. Probably one of the most realistic depictions of the scenario I've seen in cinema to date. That being said, I do not believe Charlie's character was at all relevant to the film. Catherine's scandal could have involved someone we'd never seen or heard of, seeing as how it didn't have a huge on-screen presence, so it didn't feel like it needed an on-screen character. Molly already had an engaging storyline going with Tom, and that was relevant to the story, so adding in her storyline with Charlie as well was just overkill and made the film feel too cluttered. It's another too many cooks spoiling the broth situation. Had they taken this element out, they could have put more into the others, and I think it would have elevated this film a great deal more. I think there were great performances across the board, but the one that got my attention the most was John Lithgow, who plays Walton Newbury, Catherine's husband. When he was on screen, even if he wasn't speaking, you could see him exhibiting symptoms of Parkinson's, which is what his character has. Watching him stay in that performance at all times and always catch my eye whenever he was on screen without saying a word just reminded me what a great actor he is, and I thought his performance was the best, plus I enjoyed his character. He's a genuine soundboard for his wife and he loves and supports her, and even in the midst of Catherine's scandal, while he needs time to process it, he still chooses to back her by looking at it in two ways. The first being, how can I be mad at you for doing to me what I did to someone else? This is karma. And the second, am I going to throw away a life with someone over something that happened years ago? I think even in his limited screen time, he had a lot to offer the film and I truly enjoyed him. I think this film has a terrific subject and it addresses so many current issues such as sexism, racism, nepotism, ageism, prejudice, inequality, and even talking about how people and companies are slaves to trends. Everything the film talked about was right on point, and I felt it managed to bring up every single aspect without coming off as preachy or trying too hard. And anytime you thought it was getting that way, it quickly made fun of itself and made it much easier to digest. As I said, the humor is there, it's just not particularly funny. I tend to look around my cinema when I go to the movies to gauge the audience's reaction and see how everyone else is responding so I can compare it to my own experience. In this case, only one woman in the entire cinema had a couple of chuckles. Aside from that, everyone was dead quiet. While I'm not saying this dictates how everyone will feel about it, it at least gave me comfort to know that I wasn't alone in not laughing, as my mother even said to me, "It's a nice film, but it's not very funny." The film is definitely worth a watch, and I would more than likely watch it again. Before I forget, one of my favorite moments in the film was Catherine's character. She's recording her show, she's interviewing someone, and the person's talking about her fictional show, which I guess is meant to be like kind of like the Vampire Diaries. And she says, yeah, it's like a guilty pleasure for people, and Catherine just says, you know what I think about guilty pleasures? They're stupid. Why should you feel guilty for liking something? Just like something. I think that was the first time ever in a cinema I cheered. I was just sitting there, well, technically laying there because I was in a recliner, and I just went, yes! And I'm hitting my mouth like, yes! I say that all the time! And she's looking at me like, oh my god, my daughter's gone insane. I've never had a reaction like that in the cinema before, I don't think. I'm usually quite composed because I don't want to disturb anybody or draw attention to myself. But I was so excited because that's my stance. I don't believe in the term guilty pleasures. I don't believe you should feel guilty for liking something, even if the masses or the quality of the product is deemed bad. I mean, that's all in perspective. If you love it, if you enjoy it, then who the fuck cares? Just enjoy it. I don't like that there should be a negative word associated with liking something. It's just really annoying that someone's like, oh yeah, you should feel bad for liking that. Or it's like, oh, I feel bad for liking it because it's a really bad movie. No, if you like it, then for you, it's a good movie. That's pretty much what comes down to. We can all criticize films to our heart's content, and those of us in the film community do, and even those who aren't in the film community, they do it too. Films are there to be criticized by their viewers. That's what we do. And if you like a film, then for you, you're going to walk away and say, oh, it's really good. If you didn't like a film, you're going to walk away and say it was really bad. And then another person is going to say, what? No, that was a great film. So it doesn't really matter. You, of course, can be an objective person. They're rare, though. Where you can acknowledge, oh, the quality of this film is quite shite. But you love it. You find it fun, you find it entertaining, or you find it emotional. Whatever it is you take from it has made it a film that you love and enjoy. So does it really matter what the quality is? I mean, the point at the end of the day is that you enjoy it. The films are being made in hopes that someone will take pleasure from it. And if you do, then it's a job well done. The film has succeeded. So why is there guilt? Why is it there? And everybody tries to rationalize it to me and say, yeah, it's just because we acknowledge that it's bad quality. I'm like, again, who cares? You like it, you like it. I'm repeating myself now, but seriously, every time I see people talk about it or tweet about it, or it's in a video or it's in a post and someone's like, what are your guilty pleasures? I'm like, grrr. I grit my teeth and I swear to God, I get close to like popping an embolism or something because I'm going insane. Like, no, don't feel guilty. There's no such thing as a guilty pleasure. It's a trigger word for me. It really is. I don't like it. I hate it so much. And every time somebody asks me, I don't mean to snap at them. I'm not directing it at them per se. It's just that those two bloody words together. Couldn't you just say, I would much rather people say, what's a film that a lot of people hate that you love? That's fine. I can deal with that. Or what's a film that's not great quality that you love? I yeah, I can deal with that, but please don't ask me about guilty pleasures. Oh, somebody please just erase these words, erase this term from the dictionary. I beg you, please. Who do I talk to? Who? Anyway, I'm gonna stop going on about guilty pleasures, otherwise I will be here all day. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please comment down below and tell me your thoughts on the film Late Night if you have seen it. And again, if you're actually still watching at this point of the video, YouTube tells me most people are not, but if you are and you are not subscribed, please, love you to subscribe to my channel. And please, 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 this is not fake news. Please hit the notification bell, because otherwise, and YouTube has even announced this on social media, and you can find it in their community forum, that they do not show subscribers the content of the people you're subscribed to unless you hit the notification bell. It might pop up in a recommended thing, but you're never gonna know when there's new things. And I've had people tell me that they don't know that I've uploaded new stuff until they see me tweet about it. So definitely hit that bell. And that doesn't just go for me. If there are various other channels that you like, drama channels, beauty channels, gamer channels, could be anything. If you're wondering, it's like, oh, I never know when they upload new stuff, hit that notification bell and then you're not going to have a problem. You will immediately know, oh, there's a new video, and if you don't want to watch it, then don't watch it, but at least you'll have the option, you'll know that it's there. So thank you again so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, and until next time, bye, and thank you to my patrons.